All right, 2017 year in review. I can't believe I feel like I just did this video, but here we are again, 1 year later. And so just a quick look at some of the key cards I picked up, some comic books, and maybe a little bit of my collecting focus going forward. So this year I started to go after some, I guess, mid to high grade vintage key cards, some rookies, some fan favorites. Here's a Carew rookie that I got, and that's in a 7.5 there. And I picked that one up while I was on vacation. Just sitting there on a lazy afternoon, clicking buy it nows, or actually I think I got that one from Red Zone. But anyway, here's a 62 Topps Torrey All-Star rookie, 7.5. I don't know if this is considered a collector grade or investment grade. I don't really care. I just like the highest grade possible. These cards are difficult to get in high grade because of the wood chipping, or the appearance of wood chipping on the borders. You can still pick this card up for about $200, $220. I think there's a couple on eBay right now for that very same grade. Got this 1969 Ryan. And I'm also looking to pick up his rookie card. I don't know about this year, but I want to pick up his rookie card eventually. I got some other things I want to focus on. But if I go after, I'll be looking at probably a 7.5 grade also. It's centered as best as possible for that grade, I guess. Here's a 1960 Topps Gibson second year card. I like this card better than his rookie card. I like Pete Rose. I picked up a couple Pete Rose cards this year. Here's a 64, second year with the All-Star Rookie Cup logo. And I like this card much better than his real rookie. I don't like the floating heads and the multiplayer cards, really. And that one's not even, that one's just hideous. So this is a nice card, and it's really hard to find center. I think I did a good job on this one. It's a 6.5, so mid-grade, but the centering is really nice. So happy to have that one. And I picked up this random Harmon Killebrew high grade 1970 Topps. Another Pete Rose 67. Let's see. There's a 1960 Topps Roberto Clemente. 7.5 grade. Let's see, what do I got left for vintage here? So here's a 65 Maris. I like this card a lot. PSA 8. Nice centering. And the last vintage baseball card of the bunch is the one my most recent pickup is this Mays 68 Topps and an 8. So I just posted this video, I think it was a couple weeks ago. So I wanted to fill out my 60s vintage collection just with a mix of rookies and I guess Hall of Famers, and there's more I'm looking to do there. And then now I have some modern-ish, I guess, baseball cards. Well, this one's definitely modern. This is Gleyber Torres. I always get burned on modern cards. Hopefully not this one. I did do some prospecting this past year, and I think a lot of them I'm a loser on. So I'm gonna probably stay away from the modern stuff going forward. It's easy to get sucked into the hype and the popularity of these these young kids that are just like putting up some serious numbers, and like Aaron Judge, for example, who I'm going to get to next here. But anyway, Gleyber Torres is the Yankees' best prospect. I think we're going to see him this year. Here's Judge, my one and only Aaron Judge rookie card. And I picked this up early April, and I remember I was sitting there debating, did I want to spend $50 on this guy when a previous sale was for $35 for the same card, and he hadn't quite yet proven himself, obviously. And then also there was a 68 Heritage, or a 2017 Heritage Judge auto that was $60, buy it now, and I was like going back and forth, and I like this one better. I wish I had bought both of them, because you know what happened to his cards. I don't think it's sustainable. I mean, I think an Aaron Judge rookie like in 10, it's like $1,000 card, and I'm getting to the point where it's like, would I rather spend $1,000 on a guy who's got maybe 1 or 2 years under his belt, or maybe buy like a 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson in the PSA 6 for $1,000. I think you're better off going with the vintage stuff, and that's going to be probably a little more my focus, I guess, going forward. I mean, it's easy to get caught up, and you see the cards, they go up in value quite a bit, but then over time they just seem to come down. And you know, here's another one that I hope doesn't follow that trend. I mean, the going rate for this card is around $300, and I paid around the going rate. This is Mike Trout. Now, it's a popular rookie card of his, not his real rookie card. This Topps Update. And I think a vast majority of these that have been sent in for grading are 10s, so it's certainly not a rare card. But just how high can it go? And, you know, in hindsight, you know, $300 might have been better served on something like a high-grade Aaron card from the 60s, you know? So, whatever, you know, try to keep things, try to mix things up a little bit. You know, a little bit of modern, mostly vintage stuff, but I don't know. Here's my last baseball card for this video. This is a Jeter rookie I got. Now, this is one of his rookie cards. He's got several. This is a PSA 10. I paid about $270. Now, I suspect this will probably see a dramatic bump as it gets closer to the Hall of Fame induction. And, you know, if you want to, it wouldn't be a bad idea. If you've got the money to buy as many Jeter rookies as you can in PSA 10 and flip them right around the Hall induction. That'll be the peak time to sell, if that's what you're doing or if you're interested in doing. I just collect. And I have this one, and unfortunately my SP Jeter got the N7 or N4 minimum size requirement that didn't meet it when I sent the PSA last year. So I'm going to hold off, and I will resubmit that card, hoping that it does get through, and hopefully get at least an 8, if anything. And speaking of Jeter, a not so funny story is I was doing some card organizing, and my Stadium Club Murphy Jeter that I've had for a couple of years now, 1993, in a PSA 10, took a dive from about 4 feet high onto the wood floor and bounced around in the slab. And fortunately, you know, I definitely was horrified when that happened. But fortunately, the card looks good. I went over it and I scrutinized it. I mean, you know, if it were raw and sent in, would it grade a 10 again? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, there's probably some microscopic damage to that thing, but it looks good. And, you know, I guess I'm relieved, but I don't like the fact that I know I dropped that thing and it bounced off a hardwood floor. So anyhow, all right, so moving on, basketball. I got 4 cards here. So this one I showed in my last year's video because I picked up a PSA 8 version of this in 2016. And then when I made the video, like a year ago, I had found out that it was, the slab was compromised. I was able to like actually pop open the slab, and so this was part of a submission to get it reholdered to PSA, and they called me and said, hey, the card's not an 8, it's a 4. And long story short is I got my money back, fortunately, after emailing the seller. And I had bought it like months prior too, so I'm really lucky about that. But PSA got involved, PayPal got involved, and I was able to get my money back. And so I took that money and I put it towards this 8.5. And I might have been a little bit of a knee-jerk purchase, because had I waited, you know, a few months, I could have gotten this card for about $200 less than what I paid for it. But, you know, it's still long term, it's still a winner. I mean, you got you got Bird, Johnson, and Dr. J, and one of the most iconic 80s sport cards, period. And I would say probably maybe the most iconic is this one here. I didn't talk about this. I showed this, my Jordan rookie. Usually with 1980 and up, my collecting criteria is PSA 9 or higher, and the only time I've made an exception has been these 2 cards, just because these cards in the PSA 9 are like more than double what they are in the 8.5 grade. I love the half grades because the half grades look like the next grade up, but they cost usually half as much as the next grade up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like a PSA 9 Jordan, I think is going to run you a little over $3,000 now. I paid, I think, maybe like almost $400 more than a PSA 8. I got this 8.5, but at about half the price of a 9, right? So centering isn't the greatest. You know, I'm a big fan of nice centered cards, like most people are, but you know, it's pretty common for this card to be off-centered a little bit, but it is an 8.5. It is Michael Jordan's rookie card. I never would have gotten it otherwise. I just everything timed out where it made sense to pull the trigger when I did for this particular card. So 8.5s for these two, and probably the only 8.5s cards from 1980 and up that I'd have to resort to buying because the 9s of these would be just outside of my comfort zone. So yeah, that's a big card for sure. Was happy to get that. And then my second to last basketball card, I got the Dr. J rookie. So the story with this is I was interested in getting the Lego Ultimate Collector's Series Millennium Falcon. Okay, and that's about $800. But it was sold out and not available to the average consumer. It was only available to like the VIP members and whatever. So that freed up $800 for me to go ahead and buy this card, and which is what I did. So instead of getting the Lego setup, which I figured I'd get later on, I picked up this Dr. J rookie. It's definitely an 8. I mean, it's 8 centering. I mean, it's off center, left to right a little bit, top to bottom a little bit. But it was a pretty good price, which is why I felt comfortable buying it. This Dr. J rookie. I love that 1972 Topps design. And then the last basketball card, you know, you buy as many cards as I do, I guess, or waste your money on as many cards as I do. You have a tendency to maybe overpay once in a while, and I think I might have overpaid for this guy. This Kevin Durant and a PSA 10. I paid about $325 for this. It was a best offer, and I based my offer on recent sales at the time. But then subsequent sales of this card were about $100 less than what I paid for this. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. And again, it's a modern card, so you never know with these things. But Durant's, I think he's, you know, I mean, it's probably a solid buy. He's been around long enough. He's proven himself. I think he's going to have, you know, one hell of a career, finish off his career, and definitely a surefire Hall of Famer. So anyway, so that's the sports cards, and then I got some comic books, which I guess I'll kind of like move the camera here. I picked up these are all CGC graded. I added to my Bronze Age collection with this Conan the Barbarian #1 from October of 1970. And then I also picked up this Marvel Premiere #1 featuring Warlock. And this was more or less just to have one, to say I had a copy of it. It's Superman #75, Death of Superman, 9.8. It's a very big book way back when. Not so much now, but 9.8 is a good grade. I think this was like maybe $70, $80. So it wasn't too bad. Picked up Justice League Dark #1 in 9.8. I like these obscure teams like this. I think there's a movie in the works, so that should, you know, have a little bit of a bump to this book. And then I picked up my first ever Signature Series books. I wanted a Stan Lee autograph on a Spider-Man book, so I picked it up on the Spider-Man #1 from 1990, which is a Todd McFarlane series. And you can see Stan Lee's signature there. And speaking of Todd McFarlane, I picked up his autograph on a copy of Spawn #1. And this has the new CGC holder, which is really nice. Signature there. So Spawn #1, Todd McFarlane. So going forward, so in 2018, I'm definitely going to add to the Mickey Mantle collection. I've basically taken 2 years off, I think it's been, since I picked up a regular issue Mantle card, the last one being his 51 Bowman. I lost out on a 54 Bowman last night, but I have it in mind to finally get that thing moving again, and I need the 54 Bowman, 54 Red Heart, 55 Bowman, and then I can move on to the All-Star cards and the combo cards and things like that. You're not going to see a 52 Topps for me anytime soon. And then also, a little bit more focus on higher grade, or as high as grade as I can afford, vintage. Stuff like this. Not so much modern. And I also like to kind of peel back my spending on basketball, maybe just a little bit. There is one or two cards out there I'd like to get. I actually just bought one today, Alonzo Ball rookie card, which is pretty cheap. It's like $20. And football cards, there's one card I'd like to pick up this year, and that's about it though. So I like to reel back my spending. I'd like to focus more on some vintage, high-grade vintage, or the highest grade that I could afford or that I feel comfortable with spending. Not so much on the modern stuff. Of course, I say all this now, and then it can all go to shit in a matter of 2 weeks. Well, that's what New Year's resolutions are all about, right? So anyway, that's it. So decent year. Appreciate all the comments. By the way, I get comments on my video. If I don't respond, don't take it personal. I don't respond to every comment. I certainly appreciate the comments. So don't feel like, just don't take it personal. I respond to a few here and there, but I don't respond to every single one. So anyway, that's it. I'll be back soon with another collection update for the new year. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.